5 months ago, our world changed.
The warning from the CDC, the coronavirus is spreading so quickly around the globe, it may only be a matter of time before it begins rolling across the U.S. with the potential to become a pandemic.
They postponed the game and later suspended the NBA season after reports came out that Rudy Gobert tested positive for COVID-19.
This morning, the FBI is looking into the death of a black man after he was stopped by police in Minneapolis.
It's as if a small city descended on the streets of downtown Houston.
If we don't stand up, we won't be able to be heard.
Plans and opportunities were canceled. Fear and anxiety have become the norm. Our relationships have been tested. Our schools closed. You can only have hope taken so many times before it becomes hard to find again. Before the mundane, the neutral, the numb sets in. But as a new school year begins, it's time to get wired. It's time to be in tune with our friendships. It's time to be in tune with how we feel. And it's time to get wired for what's next. Welcome to Wired.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to our first ever episode of Wired. My name is Matt, this is my buddy Jordan, and we are so excited to be with you guys today. We're gonna be releasing these episodes every other week just for you guys, and today what we're gonna be talking about is that idea of being numb or feeling numb. That numb feeling that we've had over the last couple of months. I'm sure you guys have felt something similar, and what better way to show that, to express that, than to take an ice bath. All right, you ready, man?
Let's do it, man.
All right, let's do it.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
I don't want to hurt your feet.
Good news is we're both so short that like I'm not touching your feet. Fuck. Righty.
I'm sorry. Why are you doing like
Okay. Wow, it's not melting anymore. It's all staying. Rubber
Two more bags, guys.
You're so fun. Okay. You make bath time so much fun.
Last 2 bags.
Can we just shoot the segment? How you feeling, man? I'm being reminded of why I've done this once in my life.
Yeah, well, tell us about the time you actually took an ice bath.
It was Camp 75.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I had some flu or something, 104-degree fever. And I went to the urgent care, and he said, get in an ice bath or go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And so I chose an ice bath, and I sat in one of these while everybody was like out having fun. I talk about FOMO. I was in a tub full of ice.
Wasn't that?
No, yeah, I haven't taken one since high school. Like, it's been,
Do you have to take a lot of these in high school?
I did. I got injured 40 times, like throughout my entire high school baseball career. And my senior year, I actually tore both my hamstrings. One in February.
Why did you do that?
I was really unathletic.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I was just really unathletic.
I'm glad. I was a great athlete. I think the ice bath thing is probably the one thing that kept me from going pro.
Oh, for
I
sure.
think I would have gone pro. I just couldn't do ice baths.
Yeah, that's the reason why we're in ministry.
Yeah,
we would have been pro athletes. As fun as this is.
It's very fun.
This is so much fun. I bet they can tell how much fun we're having right now. Tell us kind of why we're here right now. Why are we sitting in an ice bath? Why is this important right now?
Yeah. Well, over the course of this episode, we'll have some serious conversations about, being numb, and we're using that word to describe that kind of feeling that we've had the last, 4 or 5 months of like you get excited about something, then it's taken away, you don't want to get excited again. And what's really interesting, because what's literally physically happening to our bodies right now is our bodies aren't getting cold, our bodies are actually losing heat.
My body's getting a little cold.
So what's happening over these past couple months is like we're constantly a little bit more stressed than normal. We're constantly a little bit more like anxious than normal, and we're wondering like, are things going to come back? Or is school going to come back? Or is there going to be football? In that constant state of stress, we're losing energy, and as we're doing that, we don't want to feel those negative feelings. So we just get numb, and we kind of don't feel anything,
Yeah.
you know, on either side of it. So, you know, we're going to have some more serious conversations. I don't know if we have to have them in the hot tub or the ice tub.
Definitely not a hot tub, dude.
Yeah, I don't know if we have to have them all in here, but,
No.
you know, that's where we're heading the episode. So.
No, absolutely. I think that's a really, really good point. As you mentioned, we're going to have more conversations about this later in the episode, but let's get out right now.
Yeah, we should switch to some good news, some of the top 10, because that sounds better than the ice bath right now.
Here's Jackson and Klein with some good news.
Well, hey, thank y'all again for tuning in to this segment. And even though over the past couple months we have been very distracted for a numerous of different reasons, there's actually been some really great things going on in the world, and that's what me and Klein want to talk about today.
So we got some good news.
We got some great
to share with you guys. Up first, a personal favorite. This past week was the 10-year anniversary of One Direction.
Yes, I did actually end up seeing that.
It's bittersweet. It's happy, but it's also like, oh, y'all are still not back together. I can remember being in 6th grade, like dreaming of Harry Styles.
And now it's but like a good emotional.
It was a roller coaster,
time
but definitely worth it.
Our next thing on our good news list is actually some hope. There's a possible coronavirus vaccine coming soon.
That's exciting.
That's very interesting. Research facilities at Oxford have been creating and testing now possibilities for the coronavirus vaccine.
Many of the people that are being tested have shown good results, so hopefully trending in the right direction. I think it was last week, maybe the week before, Demi Lovato got engaged.
That's interesting.
I saw a picture, like on a beach or something like that. It looked really sweet.
It was great.
My
for
girl
her.
Demi.
Taylor Swift just dropped a new
Brand new album. Out of nowhere, she was just like, hey guys, I wrote an album.
Yeah.
I saw this thing on Twitter, like it was a text message that she sent with like a voice memo of the song, and she only wrote it in April, and it's already like on an album. I don't know anything about writing music, but that seems like impressive. Insert pictures of Klein as a child with Taylor Swift merch.
I've never been a really big Taylor Swift fan, but like some of her,
That
like
is
her
disrespectful. Next up, we have a story that I think was in the news last week, or you may have seen it on social media, of a little boy who saved his sister from a dog. I think it was a German Shepherd, and he was like charging at his sister, and he stepped in front of her, saved her, got stitches, was like really hurt. But that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was very.
My brother would never.
Heartwarming story, and it was actually cool to see. He's a big Avengers fan, big superhero fan, and a lot of the Avengers actually reached out to him and talked to him. Robert Downey Jr. said that he could actually be a part of the Avengers, which is actually super cool.
The next one I feel like you should take.
I have
it
some
feels personal to you.
extreme passion about this. As you know, we have been without sports for many, many months now, but I am here to say that sports are back.
Not all of them, but most of them.
Yeah, most of them are back.
Some
The
of them.
NBA is back. The
And the
NHL
bubble.
is back.
MLB is back. They're playing some baseball with the cardboard cutouts in the background. That's entertaining.
And the
fake-
mascots. The
yeah,
mascots
the
are in
fake
there, too.
noises too. That threw me off.
The NHL is back. I just watched a hockey game recently.
Wow.
It was on.
No fans though. Cardboard cutouts.
There was actually just nobody in the stands. It was just some dudes playing hockey.
All right.
Just like
Well,
back in the
sports
olden
are
days.
back,
you know
baby.
what I'm saying?
And then the final good news of this segment we have today is a little bittersweet for me, but Joe Jonas is a father. He has a child, Sophie Turner, and that's like, I'm happy. I don't remember Joe Jonas getting married.
I could
I,
honestly
like,
retweet that.
Couldn't tell. Would you favorite it too?
Well, unfortunately, that is the end of our time here
Woo!
today with our good news segment.
All the good news we got, but there's more coming.
There's going to be more coming over the course of the weeks to come because a lot more good news can happen. So thank you so much for tuning in with y'all, and we will see y'all later.
Bye, guys.
Sprinkle of joy.
No.
What's up, y'all? Today we're going to be doing a brain freeze showdown. Continuing on with our idea of numbness, we are going to see who can get the biggest brain freeze and drink their Slurpee the fastest. We have 4 contenders who are going to go head to head, so let's go ahead and meet them.
Hey guys, my name is Faith and my uncle is Robert Downey Jr.
Hey guys, my name is Shelby and I can do a backflip on roller skates. Hey guys, my name is Megan and I have 7 sisters.
And I'm Chloe and I got my appendix out yesterday.
3, 2, 1, go.
Ugh.
I'm not done. Shelby wins.
Did I do it?
Yeah.
Chloe, and I don't have fingerprints.
And I'm Shirley, and I'm 5'2".
3, 2, 1, go.
That concludes our Brain Freeze Challenge. Thank you all so much. Chloe, thank you for winning. You're awesome. You don't get a prize. Just the Brain Freeze. Just the sole Brain Freeze is all you
It feels
get.
good. It feels good.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Yep. Bye.
All right, welcome everybody to the top 10. And today we are gonna be sharing some of our favorite top 10 lists of some random things over the past couple of months. Some from present day, some from quarantine. Up first, we're talking about Netflix shows.
Who doesn't love some good Netflix shows?
We love Netflix. Netflix over Hulu. Sorry about it. So up first, what do we got, Jackson?
We got Tiger King was a big trending show.
We love Tiger King.
What are your thoughts on Tiger King? Liked it? Didn't like it?
I loved it. I watched it in like one day. So
It was very,
favorite.
very interesting. It made me want to have a pet tiger, but you know, that's like kind of, what's the word? Illegal. What's the second show that we had on our trending list?
We got Outer Banks.
Outer Banks. Actually, personally, some people give it a lot of hate, but I actually really like the show.
Yeah, it's good.
It was, that sounds like you're giving it like a 6 out of 10.
I thought it was good. I thought it was a little overhyped, but
Number 3 is Unsolved Mysteries.
I have not watched that.
I actually have not watched
I
this
don't
show
even know what
either,
that
so we are
is.
terrible critics of this show, but hey, we've heard that it's pretty good.
But watch it.
Watch it, yes.
Next up, Last Chance.
You.
Exactly.
You. Last Chance You. It is. I love this show, honestly. It's such a
I
great
watched
TV
it on the
show.
plane to Africa last year.
I did too, and it is a very great show.
Thumbs
I
up
love
from
it.
us.
But yes.
Next up, Kissing Booth 2, everybody. I watched that a couple nights ago. I give it 2 thumbs up. The ending is not my favorite, but I think you should watch it. But after you watch the first one.
Next show, Down to Earth with Zac Efron.
I love Zac Efron. I have not watched this though.
I haven't either, but I've seen the previews and it honestly looks really good.
I hope.
He just talks about like nature and plants and stuff. I mean, it's kinda
Love
dope.
natures.
Kinda like-
Nature, love plants.
Next show.
The Last Dance.
This show actually premiered
What?
not on Netflix first.
What is The Last Dance?
Cut.
The Vampire Diaries.
I've seen a couple episodes.
Never
of this.
seen it. My roommate, my future roommate in college, who I've never met, she sends me pictures of her watching The Vampire Diaries. So I hope it's good.
Next show, number 9.
I love this one.
Love is Blind.
Well, I don't like the beginning of it.
I've heard. What is it really honestly about? Like I haven't
Like
really.
you get engaged before you've seen them, so it's all on their personality.
Oh.
You gotta
that is
stick with it.
interesting.
The best episode is the last episode though, so just skip to the last one.
Just no context. skip
Because
to
they
the
have
last
their
one.
wedding and you get to see, oh, do they get married or not?
That's very interesting. Marrying a stranger out of no particular.
Speaking of strangers,
Wow,
last
that is a
on our
great
list, we have Stranger Things.
Some people are probably really gonna come at me for this one in the comments or whatever, but I have not seen an episode of Stranger Things.
Okay. Well, I didn't know what The Last Dance was, so I feel like we're a little bit
Yeah,
even.
that is
I
a
watched
little
the first like 2 seasons, but it was hard to follow, so I stopped. Next up, we have Disney Plus Top 10. I don't have Disney Plus, do you?
I do, but I honestly don't watch a whole
This
lot
is
of
just
it.
what the
but
people
I've
have told
seen-
us
I've seen
is the
some of the
top
things
10.
on here, and they're actually kind of pretty good.
First up, Jackson, what is that word?
Artemis Fowl.
Yep. What is that?
Give us your rating on it. We would
It
love
sounds
some new
like
show
exotic.
or movie
Like
recommendations.
Exotic Joe from Tiger King.
I thought that was
Hamilton. Also have not seen it.
But there is a lot of hype around this one. The Broadway show I heard was fantastic.
It sounds like cool. Like I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I've heard like a lot of cool people say like.
I feel like
watch
it's like
Hamilton.
too cool for me to watch. You know, it's just like one of those things. I'm like, nah. I
Yeah,
can't
we're
get
not
on
cool
that.
enough for
Yeah,
it.
we're not cool.
I haven't seen that either. Avengers Endgame.
I haven't seen it either. God, these people are really gonna hate us.
Okay, number 4, Onward. That's a new one, right?
Yeah, it's a Disney animation movie, Pixar.
Number 5 on our list, Frozen 2.
Okay, on my-
Haven't seen it.
It is a great movie, honestly. The little gecko lizard thing, cute. It is adorable.
Gecko. Next up, Stargirl.
Have you seen Stargirl?
No. It sounds like the sequel to like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
All right, next
8.
one.
Ooh.
Toy Story 4. Great movie.
Yes.
Saw it.
I think you should watch it if you haven't. Aladdin, that's with the carpet, right?
Yes. I haven't seen the live action, but the classic Aladdin it's a fantastic movie. I'd watch it over and over and over again. Have you seen the classic Aladdin?
Maybe. It's magic carpet, but then there's also a genie. Number 9, X-Men Apocalypse. Let's just go to 10.
But X-Men, the movie's pretty good. The Mandalorian, the best for last, apparently.
That sounds like mandola's Italian food. I'm hungry.
Are
y'all mad at me if you're watching?
Well, hey, that is it for our top 10
We hope you enjoyed it.
things. It was a lot of fun being with y'all. I don't know about y'all, but me and Klein are probably going to go watch The Vampire Diaries or Hamilton
or all the Disney Plus movies we haven't seen.
Or something that we haven't watched.
We need to watch them.
So thank y'all for tuning in with us. We will see y'all later.
What's up, everybody? We are back. We just got out of the cold tank and we're drying off right now. Jordan, how are you feeling, man?
Dude, a little better. Well, the sun came out, which is nice, so it's
really
like a
nice.
mix of hot and cold all of a sudden.
Absolutely.
I also got labeled the world's okayest mom, which I didn't
Okay.
realize. A little bit offended, a little bit honored.
I think
somewhere
you're pretty
between.
okay, man. I think
Yeah,
you're pretty
no,
good.
you are too. Yeah,
Thanks,
that's really
man.
sweet of you. Yeah.
Well, dude, we're going to continue on our conversation, and this entire episode, what we've been talking about is the idea of being numb and numbing our emotions. And I want to get it kicked off with you, dude, and just talk about like the last 5 months.
Yeah, I think the reason this conversation is such a big deal, and we kind of hit on this in the beginning a little bit, but we've just been in this roller coaster. I mean, like going back to March, you think about spring break and just is spring break going to get extended?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's the whole school year and it's these huge events and it's sporting seasons and camps. And, you know, I think for me, I think for a lot of us, we've been getting this cycle of getting excited about something, it gets taken away. Something's back on the calendar, it gets taken away. And if that happens enough times, you don't want to feel that disappointment anymore. You don't want to feel that, feeling of being upset or angry or depressed or whatever it might be. So it's almost easier to just kind of get not excited anymore, to not get your hopes up at all. And so because we're all in that, I think that's why it's such a big deal to have this conversation about being numb. But I do think it's also fair to ask, like, why is that bad to just not feel the bad feeling?
Yeah, I think a really quick answer to that is that if we numb our emotions, we're not living a fully alive life, right?
Yeah.
So if a lot of those things happen, if something gets canceled over and over and over again, our quick thought is just like, we're not going to get excited. Like you were saying, we're not going to get excited. We're not going to get joyful, happy over something else that's coming up. We're not going to get our hopes up over everything because we haven't identified and dealt with that first hurt. Especially over the last 5 months, we have, gotten our hopes up over something and it's been taken away.
Right.
And so if something comes in the future and we haven't identified how we're really feeling about that first hurt, it's going to be incredibly difficult to be excited about anything coming up in the future. And so my quick answer is that I think if we numb our emotions and we don't process our emotions really well, then we're not going to live a fully alive life. And I think for you and I, just being adult men, I think it's a guy thing that we don't love showing our emotions. I think that's not only just a guy thing, I think that's a people thing too. And I just want to hear from you, like, why do you feel like that is?
Yeah, well, thank you for calling me an adult. I appreciate that.
So
You're an
from
adult
one of-
also.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's common to everybody. Like you said, it's a people thing. I think you nailed it on the head too, to say it's such a big deal that if you're not going to feel the negative ones, you're not going to feel the positive either. You're numbing everything. So I think that's such a big point. I think in our culture, the reason that we want to do that in our culture, it's almost like being mature is, having your emotions under control. Like we say that all the time, not overreacting to something, not being overly dramatic. And so it's kind of like the cool thing, the chill thing, the mature thing to just like not really care, not get super angry and all that kind of stuff. But for me, there's a big disconnect just because, the way I see the world just personally, like, what I believe is I always want to take my cue from Jesus. To me, he was the perfect human.
Yeah.
And I look at him and he was anything but emotionless. You know, I mean, he was perfectly healthy emotionally, but he was fully engaged in every moment. I think a lot of times we think about him like this weak, kind of, timid, passive, peacemaker or whatever. And he was definitely kind and compassionate, but the guy was a warrior and he was strong in his emotions. He was the same guy who goes into a temple and literally flips tables over because people are gambling in the temple, like throwing tables around, Yeah. Or when he goes to see his friend, Lazarus, who had just passed away, and he's with his friends and family outside of where Lazarus's body is. He actually pauses before he goes inside, and the shortest verse in the New Testament is 2 words. It's John 11:35, and it's Jesus wept.
that's not like a man tear. You know, that's not like one tear. Like, he is breaking down. He is in the emotion of the moment. He's experiencing the pain and the loss. And this guy is God. He knew this moment was coming, and he was still fully present emotionally. So for me, to be emotional is not an unhealthy thing. It's all about feeling appropriately, not overreacting to moments, but not underreacting either. And I think that's a massive conversation. There's tons of parts of that. We're going to be working on it our whole lives. But just for the sake of time here at the end of our episode, if you were going to say like one thing just to get us started, to move in that direction, what would be the one thing that you would say?
Yeah, like you were saying, it's a massive, topic, and there's a lot of different application that goes in with it. I would say the one exercise that I would want every single person to do, especially in this season, is to identify what the hurt is. Identify what we've been numbing. Identify, what's making us sad, what's making us angry, what's making us upset. Is it something that's been on the calendar that got canceled again? Is it, family? Is it friends? Is it relationships? Is it any of those things? I want us to identify what has been hurting us, and then I want us to identify how we've been numbing it, right? So is it Netflix, TikTok? Again, things in and of itself aren't bad, but what is that thing that we're doing that kind of just takes our mind away from what is actually happening in our lives, that almost just feels like we're being taken away and we're not being in tune with our emotions? So that's a two-part answer of, I want us to identify the hurt, and then I want us to identify what we've been numbing that hurt with.
Yeah, almost specifically like just writing it down. You mean, right? Like, just get your notes app out, like identify those exactly. Absolutely. Like something simple and practical like that. Yeah, I feel like personally, there's a difference between 30 minutes of TikTok and 7 hours, right? Absolutely. Like those are two different things.
And I've done both.
So. Yeah, we've experienced that. If it's still in the U.S. in a couple, I mean, we'll see what happens. So I don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, I think that's an amazing starting point, and I think it is a huge conversation, which I think it's helpful for people to realize we're just kind of getting it started today. Yeah. So for you guys watching at home, I really would encourage you, follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because this is just the beginning of a conversation. We're actually going to have a podcast coming out in a couple of days.
Heck yeah, we are.
And we're going to dive into this more, talk about what this is like for us personally, and how we can really take more steps to really dive into this topic. We'll have lots of content coming out, in addition to ways to meet together and actually talk about this together. So make sure you're tuning into those channels, guys. This is an enormous conversation. We are so excited that you have joined us for episode 1. And we can't wait to see you here again in 2 weeks.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to our first ever podcast. Okay, we do have important things to talk about, though. Not that that's not.
That is important.
Yeah, that is very important. We have other things to talk about.
Other things.
Yeah. Okay, so here's some our other.